Sporty Jones. I've been in workforce management for about 12 years now. We have a couple of struggles in our area. One is managing telephone versus offline activities and meeting performance goals in both areas, because trying to balance the two is extremely challenging. When we are in the call center side, we kind of see it as let's get every hand possible out there to lend voice and answer every telephone call that's coming in. But because we don't physically see the workload that is being performed offline, as far as how many, for example, a claim that may be sitting in written form on an agent's desk that they're working on versus the urgency we see for a call need to be answered, we kind of tend to shuffle past the offline workload. Whereas they may want to have a 5-day turnaround, may take 7 to 10 days turnaround because we're pushing back their workload. So they're failing their service goals. We are stuck with trying to quantify their workloads enough to say, well, we know we definitely need to do this and do that. And I think part of it is just because, as you said, balancing between the two is what's difficult. And it's just tough to find a solution for that because, again, you can see the urgency on the telephone call waiting however many minutes versus not really knowing that this claim's been waiting on a person's desk for 6 days to be worked out. And it's not that it should not, but there's also a sense of urgency for offline activity also. Up training or service alert that needs to be managed out to the floor, or even just meetings to kind of get other issues out in the open and taken care of. So when we look at offline activities, not just to be workloads, but to be things like you said, like training. Training always seems like has to be done because it's extremely urgent. Everything that training comes out with needs to be taught to every associate right now. And that gets very difficult to manage, especially when there are time-sensitive things. For example, I'm in the insurance industry, so we have a new policy or procedure or a new way we have to process or do a certain thing, and it has to be taught to everybody right now. We have new rules, regulations that must be followed, that everybody must know about. Those things are extremely urgent, but very difficult to manage when we have a telephone call in queue or several calls in queue. And we have to kind of say, well, we're going to sacrifice our service performance on the phone to try and get this training done. It's hard to kind of prioritize what takes precedence over what. But I think that's actually the key to answering those questions. We have to be willing to make sacrifices to things like phone service level to get some training out. We have to be willing to push some training back to make sure we make our service goals on the phones. In other instances, it's all about prioritizing it. And that can be whether it's long-term planning or it's especially important during short-term planning when things come right down the pipe and we just have to put it into place. Because at least when we have a long time to strategize for, we can try and pull other options or levers. When it's short-term, we may not have enough time to put contingencies in place to kind of offset some of those results. So that's what makes the forecasting accuracy piece so important, because a lot of times we need to be able to tell our business partners, okay, we have these decisions on the table that need to be made, and these are what we project your impacts to be based on that. So we know that we all have service level goals. For example, we may want to answer 80% of our calls within 30 seconds as a service goal, but we know that because we have to have this training done today, we're going to be in jeopardy of and at risk for missing that goal. And if we do this training, this is what we project those goals to be. So now you're not going to make 80% in 30 seconds, but instead, with having to do this training, you may make 60% service level in 75 seconds will be your speed of answer. Communication, prioritizing, and just setting the expectations for our internal customers.